Yeah, so hi everyone. Mike Van Orden isn't able to make it today, so he asked me to try to run the meeting here a little bit.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Yeah, and Sean, we haven't been able to get a speaker lined up for the next few weeks. So do you have anyone available in the next few weeks or?
Yeah, I have someone from Dave's new company. It won't be Dave.
Good.
He's the one that did Blackbird. He
Mhm.
can have someone from what's his new company? Just a second. Cohere. Cohere is an interesting one. They have gotten 1.2 billion in funding for their app and whole project, and so they're a big boy in this field. But I really sounds like they do a lot of like Chat GPT kind of things, but more for secure environments and those types of things. But I'm not totally sure.
It's not a local company, right?
No.
Yeah, Cohere has a partnership with Oracle.
Yes, they do, among other things.
A great speaker, great topic.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. So
what date do we want to try to get them here?
so here's a question. So we kind of talked about doing a speaker once a month on either the second or the fourth week. So I'd say either next week or probably the following week, the 28th might be better. And then do a general discussion on the first and third Fridays. And if we feel like we don't have enough going on, then we can certainly skip one of those. So meet at least twice a month. And if we want to have one more group discussion, we can also do that. How people feel about that? Do you feel like it's better twice a month, or will that disappoint anyone if we don't meet every week?
Well, I'll miss you guys.
Well, we can do. I mean, so if we do a speaker once a month, and then we could do the discussions first and third. And then one thing Mike really wanted us to push for is to have someone come in and do someone do a demo of stuff you're working on. So anything you want to share with the team you think is interesting, anything about AI that would be helpful, because we want to try to get a cadence of, starting out the meeting, maybe recap what the previous speaker from the week before or the month had talked about a little bit, and anything that we want to kind of just bring up again. Have someone from the group do a 10-20 minute demo, and then bring up interesting discussion topics or anything that has gone on during the week in the news, or things you've heard about or you want to bring up. That sounds
great.
So I just messaged a lady in our that works for our company. She is an Oracle ACE director that specializes in all analytics and AI.
Oh, great.
So I'll see if she gets back to me. Probably not today, but she might be willing to present. Oracle flies her all over the bloody world to present. So.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's great. I'm working with a few people I know.
So she's gotten practice so that she's ready for a sophisticated group like ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Ken has a potential speaker. Do you want me to give her? You want to give me her name, or I'll just keep track of it, or I'll just put your name down. Okay. So Neil made me the host. Okay.
Hey, I have a little demo I could do, Bettina. I just thought of it as we're sitting here. So
great.
If
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and do the demo? That'd be perfect.
Okay. So this is like demo. All the demo demons should come out here, right? Because I have not rehearsed this. I just thought, oh, I've been using this tool. It's called Replit, and it's a little kind of an app builder. They just launched. You can build Streamlit apps with this, and it was originally designed for kind of internal applications, so they're not necessarily a ton of design features, which is why I hadn't explored it sooner. But one of the founders of startups I'm helping said, I built this app over in like 30 minutes, and I looked at it and I was a little blown away. So this is my app that I started building after he said that, and I said, I'm just going to play around with this little fitness tracker. You can see on the left-hand side here the agent, and this is kind of the AI chat, and it actually goes in and does checkpoints. So that's checking into a Git repository, making commits, so that you can roll back if you need to. You can see I think I did just a couple prompts, like mobile optimized web application for logging in and tracking fitness activities. And then they went through and did some stuff. Yeah, so it was like 2 or 3 prompts that I did. Actually,
what is this called again?
It's called Replit,
Replit.
replit.com.
Okay, looks interesting.
Yeah, I was like blown away. So I'm using it with this startup now to rapidly prototype some functionality that they think will be game changer. And so that's being able to have them go in and type in the words like, I want it to do this, I want to do that, and then I can go in and kind of fix it up and stuff if needed. But so far yeah, I've been pretty impressed. So this is what it came up with. It's one page. And this is based on one prompt. Did you notice that? I thought I did more prompts, but I only have
Basically, the tool,
prompt.
you can create any kind of app you want. Like, so you're telling it to come up with a fitness tracker for you, basically.
Yep. And it makes some pretty like smart guesses about what I would want in there.
Mm-hmm.
Duration, intensity, log. Then today's workouts, progress. I mean, they've done a good job kind of preparing this for things that, 90% of the application will want stuff like this. And so it's a little delightful to go and say, oh, you thought about this, you thought about that, stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that came from one prompt, and I have not had a chance yet to play with their React Native app generator. That'll be next. And I mean, this is something I've been wanting to do for myself. I just haven't found one that does it the way I want it to. So I'll keep playing with this, eventually deploy it. Their business model is really, they want to host it for you. And so it's, you pay to get credits to do this. And I'm on the free tier, so I get like, I don't know how many credits a month. And then you pay to have them host it and things like that. But it integrates with like any of the databases on the back end if you want it to. Like I think it's natively Postgres, but I think you go in and change it and switch it to other things. Yeah, but if you have, especially for a lot of you guys that are doing, you might have internal apps that you just need to build quickly to collect data or to get things going. This seems like a really good way. And Streamlit particularly was pointed, a couple of years ago as a good solution for internal apps, or because you don't have to deal with any UI, it just lays it out. This is Streamlit here. This is the layout that Streamlit gives you, and then you can go in and customize it with CSS and stuff if you need to. But so anyway,
How does it compare to Cursor? Have you used that one?
I've not played with Cursor yet, so I can't do a comparison. I have been playing like my native, the way I develop, I use Emacs, and I've connected to any AI on the back end. I right now I have connected to OpenAI that you could and that's been really amazing to me because I can go in and highlight text in my code and say refactor this, rewrite this to do this, and it recognizes that I've been doing mostly ELIS, mostly Emacs customizations because I live my life in Emacs, and I've been blown away with how much it just does. And I'm like, oh, I didn't have to look that up. It knows better than I do the available APIs and how the syntax and everything like that. So I'm able to focus on the business logic and the logic of what I want to get done and not clutter my mind with the minutia. Now, sometimes it gets it wrong. So I have to go through and remove the parentheses, list. That's, one of my main jobs is removing or adding parentheses. But for the most part, it gets it, 80, 90% of the way there. And then I use it for writing tests, and I found it to be actually pretty solid. They say, write a test for this function, or if I'm doing a TDD, I say, write a test for this function, and it writes it. And then I'd say, okay, now write the function. And giving it that much of information actually gets better results. It's like with any prompt engineering, it's like, oh, now it knows much better the context and can fill in the blanks easier. So, and I assume this will be, I'm still with Replit just barely starting out, but I'm assuming this is similar. That's been my experience. And the app that I'm helping the startup with, it's been very good to just like, oh, I need to add the logo on every page. So it goes and adds the logo on every page and refactor, reformat these things. And it's been pretty intelligent.
That's really nice.
I take credit for it.
You're giving me some questions or some ideas here. I wonder if anyone's applied this, essentially just pointing or giving the agent access to just a schema and saying generate an application from the schema, right? So, and then just have it kind of guide you through the questions to help identify tables and, items and whatever. You're going to show me you've done it?
I haven't done it, but let's do it in real time and see what it does. I don't have a formal schema to upload, but I wonder if we can, yeah. Please create an app from these entities. Okay, what do we want in it?
Let's do, employee, department, job description or role.
Job title and description. Okay. Tenure, like hire date.
Yeah.
Performance reviews. See. Let's do a performance review app.
It'd be interesting is create those as tables. Tell it to create those as tables and add columns as necessary. Let's see if it'll generate the whole schema.
It will. I know from because it's saving stuff to Postgres or SQLite on that free one that I did. So I know it's generating schema. Ask any verify questions.
Well, what I mean is I'm wondering if it will take employee and create, first name, last name.
Yeah, let's see.
So on and so forth. It'll just assume that from employee.
I think it will. Because
that'd be pretty impressive.
But it added all that when my workout tracker, it added all the different categories of training that I could do. I didn't tell it to do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, schema creation. Let's see what it does. Tell it to, whatever you've got handy.
Well, let's just say all of these because it takes like a minute to generate everything. So, username and password will be their authentication. Now
you have to answer those questions, or is it just?
No, this is asking me. It's like I guess I should answer those questions.
Where do you answer them? Just right.
Yeah, so 1, yes. 2, yes. Just kidding, it's tough.
Yeah.
To do everything. 3,
Rating system.
That's very cool.
Elon can use this to track his 5 things everybody did last week.
exactly. I'll send it
I,
to X.
I wonder if it's going to separate job title and description.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Let's see. I threw in a little bit of syntactical questions there.
That's what I wanted to see how clever it is and in the way it constructs the database schema.
Thought I checked this before, so now I'm going to check them again. So in TypeScript. Interesting. It did Python before, so if this is, if it assumed that I want a React Native app now, this will be interesting. If it actually makes a good React Native app, I'm going to be a little out of
Well,
a
it's
job, I
creating
think.
tables in this, isn't it?
Yeah. And
It's going by a little too fast. I couldn't see.
yeah, mostly I've seen TypeScript. I didn't notice what else it had up there above. Oh, there we go. Yep. Schemas, types, goals table, review schedule table, performance reviews table. Yeah, so I'll have this up on a little SaaS system here tonight, and you guys can all subscribe to it if you need to do
Is
performance
it done
reviews.
generating? No, it's still going.
It's still working. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, just a few.
just I'm apologizing that it takes a few minutes to do what it takes me several days to do.
Yeah. Or at least one very late night.
Yeah, I
Lots
guess
of
I get my head
caffeine.
into it. Yeah, and my undivided attention for that time, which
Yeah.
is becoming more and more scarce.
Can you scroll back up by
Yeah.
chance? I'd just like to see how it, oh, I guess you can't. Huh? It's still running the whole.
It's still going, yeah. Yeah, I asked it to do a lot though, so
You did. I mean, this is not a trivial ask. There's a lot of nuance that goes into this, right? Because you've got, is it going to put in all the referential integrity? Is it going to put in all the error checking and data quality management components?
yeah.
How is it going to abstract? There's a lot of thought that goes into this.
Yeah, it certainly, since it takes 20 seconds, and it would take us 3 days. A lot of thought.
Exactly.
It's
So you're just doing this inside of a browser?
yeah, this is just Chrome.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able to do. Did you see that ChatGPT today added the ability to work directly in all the different IDEs and update directly, not just copy and paste?
No, I didn't see it.
No. I thought
Do you
all the
have the-
IDEs.
What's that?
I thought all the IDEs did that on their own.
No,
now.
I mean, using ChatGPT as a separate app, it hooks up to the IDE, so you can use whatever you're using inside the IDE, but you also can use ChatGPT as well.
So it opens it up like it's a component window.
Mm,
And the app next to ChatGPT, or does it overlay access on top of columns and or on top of fields? And and so forth, so you can give it instruction.
It just reads whatever file you have open, and then you're able to ask it to do anything on it.
Oh, okay.
Give me a second, I gotta take a call. Be right back.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's getting to the bottom of what I thought we asked it to do, so hopefully it's done. All right, they did build the React Native. Look at that. Okay. Thinking. Oh, it's still doing authentication. How does the authentication system work? Can you try logging in with a new account to verify the dashboard? All right, so it's not progress, but where's my web view? We go to guy, tester, there's the less, 1, 0, 9. That's super relevant. There's my dashboard. Reviews, it looks like it doesn't automatically give me the ability to add a review right there. And add the goal.
Maybe you have to have a goal first.
Okay. Boil the ocean this time.
Probably be important to have an employee.
Let's check that out. So it doesn't look like I have a way of adding employees from here. Okay.
Of course, we didn't ask it for that.
We didn't. And if I were integrating this with an existing HR system, it would probably just pull it from there, right?
Yeah. Can we see the how it defined the tables?
Yes, but that's a little bit more involved, I think. If we look in, is it that progress screen where it was dating stuff? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I know I can go in to that one. There was a terminal. I can go in and I can see all the code.
There's
Go to the database.
there was a database. Yeah.
Yeah, go up above debugger is database.
How far?
No, it was there. It is.
Oh, okay. I guess I can't upgrade my plan. Well,
Yeah.
I want to upgrade it yet, but
Nah.
yeah. There, and then there's the shell that's what I was looking at before, and I was trying to see if I can pull the code out. But yeah, so you can come in and see. As is the Unix shell. Oh, it just loaded. Took over my window. Yeah.
It's a great off the cuff demo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is nothing that I did actually. It's just I was pretty blown away by this tool. So cool. Well, that's probably enough for today. Gives
Yeah, it's
everybody
it's definitely something to play with. It's pretty impressive.
I thought so as well. So,
Great.
all right.
Well, while we're talking about demos, who can volunteer to do demo in future meetings? I mean, Jeremy Huffins, I thought you had one you wanted to do at some point, right? At least that's what Mike told me.
Well, I was talking with Guy, and I have no memory of what I said I was going to demo. So I'm sure there are lots of things that we could probably talk about, but I don't remember.
Well, if you come up one, let us know. Anybody else? Tiago, do you have anything you could demo? Not today, but in the future meetings?
Oh yeah, I can definitely pick some no-brainer stuff. I just need to do some
Okay.
cleaning on client data, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, the only thing I could really think of demoing, I could show you how to do a travel itinerary in the ChatGPT. That's about it. I don't
That's actually, I had a discussion with, what was that, yesterday? Anyway, I had a lunch with a fellow who's like, if you could build that, I would buy it right away. The travel agent. I'm sure people are working on it. The AI
It's
based
in
travel agent.
ChatGPT already. It's Travel Advisor.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So there's a
Okay,
TA.
awesome.
Good. He's
Okay, you
a
want me to show
digital
you real quick?
nomad. Yes, please.
Okay, awesome.
He
I will.
spends 3 or 4 hours a month trying to figure out where to spend the next, nights and stuff with his family. So it's like, yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I guess he'd probably spend more than that, but that's what he admitted to, is like every time they switch, it takes 3 or 4 hours to
Yeah.
find a new place.
I've definitely been incorporating utilization of it more and more in just my daily, workflow. And it's just a matter of thinking about problem solving differently.
Yeah.
And but it has been interesting. I mean, things that I would have done manually myself, and because I know it, I'm what you would call the unconscious competent. So you just start writing, because that's the habit. And then I had, for example, I mean, it seems obvious, but it didn't at the time, was I had to write some sales sheets for our, very junior level salespeople, and on the product. And so I don't remember who it was, but somebody on this in our group here presented on Ultra. So I got Ultra, and I gave it a very good description, and then it made it even more comprehensive of my role and my industry. And it put it into a role, and then I asked it to create a sales card with comparative analytics for competing product offerings for all of Oracle's EPM modules. And of course, a big piece of it was context around my role with Oracle. And it spit those suckers out. And, when I gave him
I think we're going to line you up, Ken, for a demo, and maybe to do the demo that next time.
Yeah, I gave it I gave it the target audience, basically described who was going to be using it and for what purpose. And it gave me absolutely everything, including objections and responses to common sales questions, showed me feature by feature, or, significant feature by feature, the differences between Oracle's offering and Blackstone's offering, and all the different competing offerings. And it was really, really impressive, and it saved me hours.
Wow. Okay, you're on the list. I was just going to show you real quick, since you said to. So in ChatGPT, you go to Explore GPTs, and then you've got the lifestyle. You scroll down to a ton of them, but the travel guide is right there. I actually have it open already. So you just put in, like, we're going to Germany. So it's please create and I'm very pleased with it. An itinerary for Germany, starting in Cologne and ending and going to Berlin for 5 days from May 10th to May 15, including World War II historical sites. I mean, is this cool? It gives you the exact where to go, how long it's going to take.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Does it give you like, trains to catch?
It will give you that. Why it stopped? Did it regenerate?
I mean, will it like say, well, gee, if you leave on this date, your airplane ticket will be $200 cheaper, or I mean, will it,
Probably. There's an Expedia GPT too, so you could probably check with that. So it tells you what hotel to go into. Cologne, the Kölner Dome. I mean, my family lives in the Cologne area, so I know this area really well. You got the Nuremberg site. So, and then you can go back and say, I mean, so it's pretty thorough. And you can go back and then tell it. So I'm going to say instead, please redo using car travel, as we will have a rental car. And it'll start over. So, I mean, we're going to Mexico, so I've been looking at Puerto Vallarta and different things to do. So I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what I wanted to kind of do is get a list of people that are willing to do demos and then speakers. I just heard back from a gentleman I know from Dallas, and he's actually the CISO at a company called MaxSure that does security kind of analysis. And so he said he could do a talk on AI risk and governance management. Would that be of interest? AI risk and governance management?
Yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah, to me as well.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'll line him up. Perfect. So we got that as one of them. And then Sean, you're a Cohere guy. Or guy or gal, I don't know who it was, but you'll get someone there. And then Ken, you're checking with someone from Oracle.
Yeah, she said she's willing. She's
okay,
actually with the company I'm with, ITC,
Oh, okay.
but she's an Oracle ACE director. You can't work for Oracle and be an ACE director. You have to be part of the user community in order to be an ACE director. But she's actually in Uruguay, and she said she'd be very willing to participate.
Okay.
And she's not just focused on Oracle, so she can give us a piece of Oracle and then some of the other things, options that are out there. But she's asking me what I want her to present on. So I got to connect her on Monday.
Why don't
So-
I'll send you a little note with a couple of the flyers we have as samples, and we just, if you guys can come up with the topic and some bullets, I can make a little flyer on her too. And we just have to pick a date. So, well, that's great. So we have 3 potential speakers. Tiago, do you have anyone else you could think of as a speaker?
Let me talk to a few folks. I do have a lot of people in mind, but I need to check agendas. Do you have specific dates that you want to fill, Bettina, or?
Well, so we're going to do speakers continue on the 2nd or 4th Fridays. If we do have plenty, we can do 2 a month, but I think we could try to do 1 a month. So I think the next one would probably be, Sean, do you think is Sean still on? He had to drop. So when Guy and Mike and I were talking, we were kind of thinking maybe we do our next speaker on the 28th of March.
Okay.
And then
Yes.
in April, it could be the 11th or I'll send you a list of potential open dates. How do I do that?
Perfect.
Let me send anyone so I'll send it to you, Tiago, and to Ken with a couple details of what we're looking for and then some possible dates. Mzia, do you have anyone that could be a speaker as well?
I was going to ask, there was some appetite for this AI god hired at the University
Yeah,
of Utah. I don't have any leads, but I have his email. Do you want me to approach him?
absolutely.
It would be kind of probably interesting if he agrees to bring him to larger audience.
Yeah.
That for him it will be also a good opportunity, to create visibility for the program,
Yeah, exactly. So you could talk about the AI program, what they're doing, and I think that would be
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
okay. So what I'll do is anyone that said they might have a speaker, I'll send you a little note with some of the samples from what we did before, and then with
Okay.
open dates, and then I'll coordinate. How about if I coordinate those timings?
Yeah, I'll just message and I'll copy you and Sean
Okay,
so
great.
you guys know what's going on, and then
Perfect.
you guys can take it from there.
Anybody else have anyone they could think of as a speaker? What I'm hoping to do is we can get a schedule going for the next several months, so that way we won't have to cancel any meetings going forward. Dave, do you know anyone that you'd be interested in bringing on?
I don't at the moment. I don't have anybody that I know of I can reach out to, but
Yeah, okay, great. And then Brian, how about you? Anyone you can think of or to reach out to?
I don't have anybody.
Okay, that's fair, no worries. And then Joe, anyone else? Do you have anyone?
Sorry, couldn't hear me there. Not currently, but
Okay.
I'm working on a few projects myself that I might be able
Great.
to demo in the
So you
next
could do
couple weeks.
oh, awesome, Joe, that'd be great. So I'll put you down for a demo.
I got a question.
Yes.
Has anyone been able to get Anthropic, Claude GPT, Chat GPT, any of them to do financial analysis for you? Because I've tried, and I even gave it the file from Edgar, the SEC's website where all your corporate filings are done. I gave it a financial report and asked it just to do simple things, give me the DuPont framework for this, financial statement, and it couldn't extract the financial statement from the file. It kept getting stuck. And so I was wondering if anyone had ever tried that or had any success with that.
Have not tried it. Actually, just got off a demo call with Oracle an hour before this call. Was similar lines though around financial analysis, and like I'm sure you're aware, they're using Cohere for the Gen AI side of it, but they build it on top of an existing analytics product so that it's more prompt oriented with AI just acting like the interface, not so much figuring it out itself.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oracle, I worked for Oracle for 10 years, and they're a great marketing machine. And they've got some great technology, but they just have a really hard time figuring out what to do with it. So it's usually, requires some innovator, some forward thinker to say, this is really how you should apply it. And then they acquire that company. They're not very good at adopting it themselves. So yeah, they're building that all on top of probably FCCS, financial close and consolidation.
Analytics platform, yeah.
Yeah, that will actually generate all the XBRL formatted reports that go to, actually Financial Reports does that, where it generate the XBRL and send it right directly to the SEC. And so if you've already got the data in FCCS, then yeah, you can do all kinds of, prompting as to what you want out of it. But one of the things I've always wanted to be able to do was to do the financial analysis, pick a company that's public, I don't know, Walmart, and do the financial analysis comparing it, and just say to its foremost comparable peers in the industry and have it compare all the financial statements and give me, the performance metrics and summarize the analyst reviews and reports, so that you get this relative sense of, what the value of the company is, how well they're performing, and then maybe even do some financial statement forecasting on an individual company to say, oh, they're going to go issue a bunch of debt. How should that impact their financial statements, 4 years into the future? All things that can be done, right? These are all things that anybody in finance can do. In fact, Oracle has some very expensive tools that they acquired specifically to do get information from the SEC and then do that financial analysis. They bought a couple of companies and then purchased a license from one that refused to be bought, in order to get that functionality. So it's not like it's impossible, right? I just wonder how close.
You're funny. That would put Wall Street out of work.
Yeah, it could do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, there's a chat in ChatGPT, there's a stock research assistant that gives you ideas on stocks and options.
I'll take a look at that one.
So
I just kept
analyze
looking at the
market
financial
news and
statement.
charts, but it does not give financial advice. I'm very clear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gen AI has a hard time doing the math, right? It's just still predicting the next word in the sentence, not
Right.
actually doing the math to do the analysis.
Yeah.
Right. So you probably have to find a financial analysis machine learning system or AI system that specializes in that, and then use the generative piece. I thought by using the generative piece and giving it the RAG content, right? And say it apply to this, because it will tell me all the rules.
Yeah.
If I ask it for the DuPont framework, it'll give me the framework.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's got the information. It just, I guess the bridge is too far, or the gap is too far at the moment for it to say, I got the information, this is how I apply it. Right.
Yeah.
Is one of your problems is pulling the data out of the PDFs, right? Out of the documents?
Yeah. Yeah. Or even the XML, right? It just can't seem to figure out.
It struggles with the XML, huh?
Yeah. I even cut it down to where it was just the XML related to the financial statement. So all the rest of the financial report was gone. I just cut it down to the financial statement. It's still, I can't find it. I can't get the information. It basically came back with an error.
Could it pull individual pieces of data out based on the line label and the amounts?
I gave up. I gave up trying at this point. I just said, gee, I've helped you a lot. I took out all the noise. Come on.
I've already done all the work for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the work for you.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a machine learning type of a model would be better once you get the data there, once you get to that XML stage. But
yeah, but exactly, pulling all that data out so that it can be analyzed is the tedious part.
Yeah.
Right. That's the part that's just annoyingly mundane. Applying the creative analytics is a whole lot easier than I got to cut and paste. I got to copy this, import that, reformat that,
Yeah.
a bunch of formulas, do that. I mean, that's the part you're hoping an AI would do for you.
Did you try to convert the PDFs into rasterized images? We were doing form record or document recognition.
I didn't try that.
And
I
it
didn't
actually
try that. I
wasn't
just was working with the XML file. I figured it's XML. You know, it's XML. It's a computer language. You know, that would be, you know, more. Yeah, you just would have thought it'd be easier,
No,
right?
you basically got tagged data.
Yeah, exactly. It's all you're telling it exactly what the data is, what each of the elements are.
Yeah.
Maybe ChatGPT was had a headache that day or something. I don't know.
Which model of chat?
4.0. It was
4.0.
4. I haven't tried it on anything else. I was going to try it on Anthropic's Claude, and then I was going to try it on DeepSeek R1, but I don't know. Didn't get around to it.
That actually brings up another question that I've had. I've been puzzling. I think it's analogous to tests in code, that a lot of these AI solutions, you know, you do all your prompt engineering, you do whatever you need, you do your RAG, and they all come together with an LLM that you might not get the same answer or a equally satisfactory answer going to another LLM. So a couple of the people that we've had talk, I mean, the contract one particularly, he talks about, they've invested millions in their prompts, and then when ChatGPT comes out with a new version, they have to retest everything and make sure that it's still giving the right answer. So I was wondering, has anybody had that problem and solved it? In my imagination, I'm like, okay, well, you have to have a bunch of automated tests that run given scenarios that you know through the AI with the new version, compare it with the output and say, yeah, this is acceptable or not.
So what I have seen done by a couple of people has been they take that, they get an open source downloadable LLM, and then they don't have to worry about the LLM changing.
Yeah.
Right. If it's a 70 billion parameter LLM and they create their prompts and they're getting predictable, accurate results, then they don't care if GPT is on, you know, whatever. Right.
And that's why we still have people using Windows 10 or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, shoot, I worked as CIO at an aerospace and defense company, and we implemented Oracle 11.003, the Oracle EBS suite, and we stayed on it forever. Right? Never upgraded. Never upgraded the database, never upgraded the operating system. You know, it did absolutely everything we needed it to. There was no ROI, no justifiable business case for even upgrading, let alone implementing a new one or additional modules. And that changes when you become a public company, of course, because then you have all the, you know, the regulatory and compliance stuff and people afraid that you're not on a supported version of a platform or, you know.
There's ways around that.
What's that?
There are ways around that, I know from personal experience.
There are, but usually a lot of people will just say, just pay the ticket and move on, you know.
Yeah.
But there are ways around it. You're right.
I've worked with EBS for the last 25 years.
With who?
EBS.
Oh, with EBS. Yeah. What version you on?
I just moved to Zions and we're on current, but my former employer is still on 11.
So you haven't justified the move to Fusion yet?
We're working on it. It is.
That's what a lot of people tell me. They're working on it.
Yeah. It is one of those things you have to justify the cost, right? Because there's not a direct revenue ROI for doing the project.
Yeah. One of the companies I do consulting with, they're a huge conglomerate manufacturer. So they've just a portfolio company, manufacturing brands. And they had one division that wanted to go to Fusion. It was going to cost him $600,000 a year in just seats, right? Just subscription. And they said, there's no way, there's no way they could spend the 600 grand a year when running EBS on premise was costing them about 200 grand a year.
Yeah.
Couldn't justify it.
Well, okay, I just want to wrap up the dates and what we sort of agreed to, and then you can keep talking. I just don't want to lose everybody. For speakers, Sean's going to come up with an Oracle Cohere speaker. Ken, you have someone from your company that's an Oracle ACE director. I've got a guy from a company called MaxSure that'll do AI risk governance management. And Tiago, you're going to look for some people. You said you know some people, and you'll check back on that. And the MZA, you're going to check with someone from the University of Utah. So I'll send you guys all a quick note, and then with just some background so you can share it with the speakers, and then the dates that are open. And then you can just get back to me and we'll coordinate the schedule. Sound good? Okay, and then for demos, then we need demos.
Excellent.
Yeah. So Joe said he would do one, and Jeremy said he would do one. Anybody else have a demo they can do in the near term? Just something simple like you saw Guy and I do today. Clint, are you about to say yes?
No, I wish I could, but I don't have anything.
Okay.
I don't have anything off the top of my head, but I'll come up with
Okay.
something.
Okay. So we got a couple. So Joe, so I think next week it's probably since we don't have a speaker, so we're probably going to just cancel that one. March 21 in 2 weeks, both Mike and I are out that week. Do you want to have a discussion or should we just cancel it? Someone else would have to run that.
I'm happy to
I'm
run
okay
it,
to cancel it.
but if I'm happy, yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we just cancel? So we'll get a speaker for the 28th. And then Joe, can we put you on the spot to do a demo on April 4th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if it's not one of my personal projects, I have dozens of other tools that I've been using that I think people could find use with.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that anything you want to share is fine with the group.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Okay. And then we'll get a speaker either for April 11th or April 25th, but then the 18th we'll need another demo. And I'll see if Jeremy Effens can do that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So we'll get that organized. And so we'll have our next meeting on the 28th. We'll send out a note about what speaker we have. Or there's Sean. Sean, do you think any chance we'd have a speaker by next week, or should we just wait till the 28th?
I just got back.
I know. Yeah, we just went through kind of, right now we're thinking we'll just pass the next 2 weeks and then we'll have a speaker on the 28th. And we have a demo on the April 4th, a speaker on either the 11th or the 25th of April, and a demo on April 18th. So unless you think you can turn some around quickly for next week, we can just skip next week as well. That's kind of what Mike Van Orden recommended too.
So what's the other date? I'm texting him now.
March, well, he could do it. I mean, March 28th, April 11th, April 25th. We're just figuring out what, if we skip next week, I know we can get someone on the 28th, and it doesn't have to be your speaker, it could be somebody else.
So March 28th, April, what?
I'll send a note to you with what the dates are, but I just would say, so I think it's a quorum that we'll skip the next 2 weeks. We'll meet on the 28th with a speaker, either someone from Sean. We've got 5 potential speakers, Sean, so I'll send a note to you and the other people here that have speaker volunteers with details and open dates.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, great. Okay, well, good. That's, I think, the key stuff we had to decide. So feel free to keep talking.
Yeah, I actually have another meeting I got to go to.
Okay,
All right. Thanks, guys.
thanks,
Take
everyone.
care, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
See you in a
Thanks.
couple of weeks. Okay.